Hello, class. I'm going to walk you through workbook page 273 through 279. We're going to do the odd numbers. So, zoom, zoom. A penny is 1/100th is 1/100th. So, there's nothing to do here except underline and do a smiley face. Ha ha ha. Because this is right. All right, number 3. 10, 10th, 10/100ths, 10/100ths, and 5/100ths. Sorry for the interruption. 25/100ths. Looks like this, looks like that, and yep, looks like this. So smiley face with that around it. Okay. That's all. So I guess let's add a word form. So 25/100ths. Okay, that's how you write that in word form. Number 5. Yep. I guess while we're at it, if you want to add 50%, you can, but this is extra. It's extra. Okay. All right, next page. Not page Yahoo. Page 274. Trixie is scratching herself on the sofa if you hear some, yeah, talking about you. All right, so now we got 7. That is a half and a half is 2 halves, which is 1 whole. And I think it's important to emphasize that this is 1 half and this is 1 half. And the whole rectangle would be 1 whole. So 1.00 or $1. Number 9. If you have 2 quarters, it'll be 2/4, aka 2 quarters. 2 of 4 equals 1 half, and a half equals, well, 5/10. Or if you enlarge it to hundredths, it's this, 5/100ths. Pretty good. Time for another smiley face. And last, if you have a fourth, then a fourth, then a fourth, then a fourth, you have 4 quarters, and 4 quarters is 1 whole, and everything here is right. Not a whole lot to do on this page except make something that looks like a bear, I guess. I don't know. Okay, so all right, moving on to 275. Fourth and a fourth and a fourth. Oh, that's even or odd. That's 1 and a fourth and 2/4. So yeah, 1 and 2/4 equals 1.5, which is the same. Just different ways of representing 1/4. It looks like this. That's 1/4 plus another fourth. Yeah, not a whole lot of doing anything on these pages. They just wanted you to, I mean, if we were in a class or group setting, we would say discuss the patterns. And people will see these in different ways. I tend to, for this page, when I taught in this page, I'd get impatient and just want to get on to exploring it, but I think it is helpful. All right, so now that you've seen it represented in fractions, and now you see them in columns and coins. We'll represent it in a different way. So they want us to do a fraction first. So how many sections? I think I see 3. And then I recall that these are tenths. Let's see how I do here. 10/10, 10/10, 1/10, 1/10, and 1/10. And then that equals 3/10 or 30/100ths. Now the thing about this is that says That's, I wrote 1/10, but it's also 10 1/100ths, right? Because a penny, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10. 10 pennies out of $1, out of 100. And then the last thing is a decimal. A decimal would be something point something something. And it's definitely less than 1, so it's 0. And we know that there's 3 columns. Each column is worth a tenth, and 3/10 is the same as 30, not 36, but 30 hundredths. So number 15 is represented this way, and decimal, and fraction. Okay, so number 17 and 19 are next. Oh, they want us to they provided 75. So now you have to represent this here. But we should also do it as a fraction. So this is a decimal, but this one is going to be a fraction. 75. So 7/10 means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that 5 hundredths means it's not going to be a whole column. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. So now we have 75 hundredths equals, well, that. Just to be more clear, plug it in. That's 3/10, 30 hundredths, 40 hundredths, 50, 60, 70 hundredths, 75 hundredths. Oh, let's put it in word form actually. 75 hundredths. 100 THS. Hundredths. This is important when talking with other people. If it's 7,500, that's 7,500, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about 75 hundredths, smaller than 1. Last one on 276. 3 halves equals 1 1/2. The first thing I want to do is break it into halves. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a half. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is another half. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we have 3 halves. And if you shade each individual grid, that's fine, as long as you can somehow emphasize that this is 3. That's 1/2. And then another half. And then that half. So now it'll shade it in. One and 1/2. And 1.50. Also known as. All right, so that's it for now. 277. Now we're getting into lots of word-heavy worksheet pages. Above the question says a tenth and a tenth and a tenth and a tenth. Well, this will just keep repeating. Same thing here. 0, 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, and so on. 10 hundredths, 20 hundredths, 30 hundredths, 10 hundredths, 20 hundredths, 30 hundredths, 40 hundredths. Here's the all-important THS. They want us to finish. All right, finish. So 0.50, 0.60, and so on. I think you can do this without me. 90 100ths would be here. 4, 5, 6. Just jump around. 7, 8. Jump around while sitting down. This is pretty straightforward. 1/10 plus blank 1/10 plus blank 1/10. And then fraction, decimal, fraction, decimal. And that's how you do that. Use what you know about fractions, money, blah, blah, blah. 3/10 is the same as 30/100ths. I'll help you out here. It is the same because 3/10 are like 3 DIMES and 30/100ths are like 30 BENNIES. Hopefully you can listen to what I just spelled and put the words in there. Tenths are greater than 100ths, even though 10 is less than 100. Explain why this is true. This is a little more sophisticated. Maybe you could say one slice of 10 slices is larger than one slice of 100 slices. To me, that's one way of explaining that. Another way is to use pictures. If let's do this. See. Now let's look up there. This is 1/10, and this is 1/100th. And if you're hungry, I think you would rather have 1/10 of a delicious meal than 1/100th of a delicious meal. And if blah, blah, blah. All right, 2 more pages, sort of. Oh, 1 more page. All right, so now we're turning word form into decimal form. Make sure it's decimal form. 8/10 is not 8/10 because that's fractions. Whoopsie. Instead, it should be 0.8. 6/100ths is not this. That would be 6/10. Instead, it should be 0.06. 35/100ths, it's tricky. Some people want to keep putting extra zeros. It's not 0.035. This is in the wrong spot. Instead, it's 0.35. Okay. 92/100ths, 2/10, 9/100ths. 92/100ths, 2/10 I'll do for you, 0.2. And then lastly, 9/100ths looks similar to this, but there's a 0 here. And then a 9 goes there. All right. Some word problems for you. I'm going to do these two. 4 left-handed people out of 100. If that's left-handed, this is right-handed. Well, we don't know. We don't know. Because are people only left-handed or right-handed? What about ambidextrous people? Ambidextrous. But what they're getting at is that if 4 out of 100 are left-handed, and I don't think that's accurate. Most there's more left-handers in general, but I don't know the town of Silver. Anyway, 4 out of 100 are left-handed, therefore the rest should be probably 96 out of 100 right-handers. I'll put righties. Okay, same thing for this. Boys and girls. So down here, I filled that in. So you'll have to change these. How about odds nickel 0.05, quarter 0.25, and if it was a dollar bill, would be 100 out of 100. That's 1.00. All right, that is it for now.